Yeah, Shalom. Yeah, first off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kodash. Yeah, and double honors to the apostles and the others of great bestowing peace and blessings to the elect, the nation of Israel. This is Brother Rob for the great bestowing Jamaica camp, bringing you this lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kodash. Hey, doing this will be edifying, man. Hey, we just see you speaking on some news, right? So this is from Reuters. It says Trump intensifies trade war with a threat of 30% tariffs on EU and Mexico. Hey, we're living in some exciting times, man. And we're gonna see how these men are really orchestrating these things and setting up things to happen, right? Because these measures that they implement, man, they have serious ramifications, right? And a lot of Americans don't see the ramifications which they could bring, right? So read it says President Donald Trump on Saturday threatened to impose a 30% tariffs on imports from Mexico and the European Union starting on August 1st after weeks of negotiations with major US partners failed to reach a comprehensive trade deal. It's in an escalation of a trade war that has angered US allies and rattled investors. Trump announced that the latest tariffs in separate letters to the European Council President Ursula von der Leyen and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum that were posted on his Truth social media site on Thursday. He said the EU and Mexico, both among the largest trade partners, responding by calling the tariffs unfair and disruptive while pledging to continue to negotiate with the US for broader trade deal before the deadline. Hey, you see this, man? He said these are the US is the largest trading partners, man. You see the famine coming in, man. If you have eyes, can see. We can see the famine coming in on the horizon, man. Hey, let me get the scripture here before. This Isaiah 19, verse 3. Point is 4. It's and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the cones thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to them, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. It's and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord. This is near Trump, man. This is near Trump, a cruel lord, man. You see the measures that he's implementing, man. It's not for the good of America, man. But these MAGA, I would say sheep in America don't understand that these things are for the detriment of America. If you are putting tariffs on your major trade partners, man, what is going to happen to your economy? What is going to happen to the things that in your country? And as we're going to read on, these things will cause major famines, man. Right? It says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahweh, Lord of hosts. That's right. So near Trump, you see these measures that he's implementing, man. That's why the scripture says to he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? Because this man, his people is living in America, man, and he doesn't care. Right? He doesn't care about his people. He doesn't care about his nation, man. Right? He rather let his people suffer. But don't worry. Scripture says, when the righteous in our authority, the people rejoice. It's a quote. It says, we are also clear on that we can work with the United States government, and we are clear on what we can and what we are clear on what we can't. And there's something that never negotiable, and there's something that's never negotiable: the sovereignty of our country. So he said, and see, He said Trump sent similar letters to 23 other trading partners this week, including Canada, Japan, and Brazil, setting blanket tariffs rates ranging from 20 to 50%, as well as 50% on copper. This is why the scripture say the beast. I'll bring it out. This is Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, said, these shall eat the ore, and shall make her desolate, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Because America is implementing these measures, man, and the nations are not liking this thing, man. Especially from before and when America is the bully of the earth, hammer of the earth, as the scripture said. And now, in these serious times, when all economies are taking a hit, man, they are imposing tariffs. This is one of the reasons why the tenant shall eat the ore, man. Right? They shall eat the ore, because America is constantly doing things that's not right. Yeah, let me read this. Let me get this one. This is Isaiah 10 verse 1. So one to them that decree unrighteous decrees and that righteous grievousness which they prescribe. So this is another unrighteous decree. This one is forcing certain measures on America, man. This will come to be one of the detriments of America, man. Right? It's not good. And the famine is coming. It's right on the horizon. Especially with this big tariff to Mexico, as we're going to get into. Right? See, you look any more in the article here. You hear that? It's a pharmaceutical products make up the majority of US imports from the EU. You see that, man? You see that? You see that, man? So what's going to happen? What would happen if they cut off from the US, man? And say, fuck you. Sorry for my French. You see what would happen, man? The America would go into turmoil, man. These men don't understand what they're really doing, man. They don't understand what they're doing. They clearly don't understand what they're doing, man. Right? And it's in 2024, Mexico became the top US trading partner for agricultural imports, according to multiple sources. This means the US imported more agricultural products from Mexico than any other country that year. You hear that, man? What do you think agriculture mean? It means a famine is coming. This is why the scripture said this, man. 2 Ezra 6 verse 22, as suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. And I'm not saying that when these tariffs imposed, they're going to become a famine. I'm not saying that. But these are some measures that could lead to the famine. Right? And the food store houses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound. When every man hear it, they shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time friends shall fight against one another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So let them go ahead, man. These men know what they're doing, man. These men know what they're doing. Their agenda is to bring in the new world order. So when they see these politicians making such measures, man, it's to bring us into ultimately the new world order, man. It's Mexico's leading agriculture exports to the US include fresh vegetables, beer, distilled spirits, and fresh fruit. Specifically, Mexico is the largest supplier of fresh tomatoes in the US. No more ketchup. No more ketchup, man, on these things. No more ketchup. It's a Mexico surpassed US Slovakia. Mexico surpassed China and Canada to become the top agricultural trading partner for the US in 2024. So overall, Mexico was a top US trading partner in 2024 with a record-breaking 84 billion in total trade. Hey, what will you think? Hey, let me type it in Google. So what would happen if Mexico stopped trading with the US? You hear that? Alright. So it's if Mexico stopped trading with the US, it would significantly impact the availability of fresh produce in the US, particularly during winter months. The US heavily relies on Mexico for fruits and vegetables, with Mexico supplying a large portion of the US imports in these categories. So this disruption could lead to empty shelves and increased prices for consumers. Hey, you hear these things, man? It said the US imports a substantial amount of its fruits and vegetables from Mexico, especially during the colder months. A cessation of trade would likely lead to shortages of items like avocados, tomatoes, and warm weather produce, causing notable gaps on grocery store shelves. You see the ramifications of these actions, man. Near Trump don't know what he's doing, man. Well, he does know, but these men have an agenda, man, to bring this into to the new world order. So this 2nd Ezra 16 and verse it's not. And verse 17. So woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? So the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. So the beginning of wars, and the poor shall stand in fear. So the beginnings of evils, and what shall I do when these evils shall come? So behold, famine, and plague, tribulation, and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of scourge. So behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. So even then shall evils grow upon earth, to the sword, famine, and great confusion. So for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Don't worry, man, these things are coming. You see these measures that these men are implementing. Don't think therefore just cause, man. These men are doing all these things for a reason. Everything is calculated, man. No step is not planned, man. Right? A snare is set, as it says in Ezekiel, man. A sword is sharpened and furbished, man, to give it under the slayer, which is the so-called wild man Esau Edom. Right? So, when you see these men implementing such measures, because hey, ultimately it doesn't make any sense. Why would you cut off a major trading partner which could cause huge ramifications on your economy and the country? It doesn't make any sense. Well, to us, which is the regular man, but to the men that have understanding, we know that hey, it's all goes to the world order, to bring in certain measures, right? We know all this, man. So we are not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. But with that, Me give all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yershai Bashim Kodash. Hey, Shalom.